I pitched my tent outside a nice looking estate house. It's not the bothy, however. The estate had clients out in the hills shooting deer. Apparently each shooter pays £2,000 per day if they fire their gun. Otherwise there's no charge for deer shooting. Around 6 p.m. there was a shot and the all-terrain vehicle went off into the hills to collect the dead stag carcass. It was a 12-pointer, otherwise known as a royal, a very rare stag. Time is 8:17 and leaving Glencoul. The ponies are used to bring the stag carcasses to a point where the ATV vehicle can access and collect them. After leaving the bothy, the estate track continued right up to the end of the loch, and then it was on a rough foot track which followed the southern shore of Loch Glencoul before rising up and going over a headland and dropping down into Loch Glencoul. As far as I could figure out, Glencoul Bothy at the head of another sea loch is only accessible by foot or by boat. While I was at the bothy, an RAF jet made a low-level pass overhead. There's an estate road going up the valley, however it only goes as far as a loch, about 3 kilometres away. The estate road finishes at the far end of this loch. From here, the route enters some very remote, boggy, barren moorland. Time is 17:30 and I've decided to camp beside Gorm Loch Moor, which is just a little bit further beyond Gorm Loch Beag, where I'd been intending to camp. It's been a blustery day with strong wind when up on exposed areas and sometimes light rain being blown in horizontally. Not very pleasant to be outside, and I found this, I'd say, dryish place. Have a bit of shelter from the west because I'm down a bit from a hill, so the wind not as strong as it would have been if I'd been out in the open. Wouldn't want to camp out in the open. It's very boggy around here. Everything's very waterlogged. Clothes are all wet from the rain. Under the jacket is drier, but changed into my spare clothes, so that's good. Not cold now, so we'll camp here and see what things are like in the morning. It's about 11 kilometres straight line distance to the next place where I intend to camp on the Oykel River. I've just finished dinner, which was minestrone soup and the macaroni cheese. Finished charging the Sony Action camera. Only got about half a watt hour of energy today from the solar panel into the battery. So I've had to draw on the Xiaomi battery quite a bit today because I also needed to charge the phone, which was down to 35%. On previous days which were brighter, I've got 3 watt hour or 3.5 watt hour typically. Up at Sandwood Bay, I think I even got about 4 watt hour in the sunny conditions. Even charged the Guide 10 battery 100% one day at the beginning, but today was pretty miserable, overcast, hardly much light and intermittent rain, so not surprising, didn't get much solar energy. I'm thinking I'll have to maybe try Ullapool Ufostel to get access to a power point to charge the Xiaomi battery back up, because it's already down to 3 bars. It's Thursday, 1st of September, time almost 6 a.m. Just starting to get light outside. I haven't looked outside yet, but I think it's a dull day, so that's what's in store. I don't think it's rained overnight, but has been windy. Sometimes not so windy, and then along come the big gusts. Last night when I pitched the tent, I definitely wanted to make sure that I had the small end pointed towards the wind, and I knew the wind would be coming through the pass, which is maybe 1 kilometre away, maybe a bit more to the northwest of my position. So that's the way I wanted to locate the tent, but that meant that the front end would be lower than the rear end. So I've had to sleep with my head towards the narrow end, which meant that not that far away from the flapping material in the wind. So I did sleep, but it wasn't the deepest sleep, not like I had last night at Glen to bothy, but was okay. Also, the ground's not bowling green finish, bit lumpy, no rocks, but had to mould myself with the ground underneath the tent, but it was dry, so that was good. I don't think any water's come through the floor of the tent. It's good having the foam mat because it's nice and warm sitting on the foam mat, but if I sit on the Mont ground sheet, then it definitely feels colder. So I'll be having breakfast now and be then pack up and continue on to Oykel River. I don't think it's about 11 kilometres direct line distance to where I intend to camp, so not too difficult. I think the track's okay. Rolled oats with skim milk and a bit of peanut butter. Time is 7:56 and I'm leaving camp. Looks like I've lost the carbide tip in one of the walking poles. Leaving Gormlock Moor behind at 8:30. This morning's route skirts around the base of Ben More Ascent. First major river crossing in Scotland. At its deepest, it came back 3/4 of the way up to my knee. The only markers to follow are the occasional footprints of previous walkers and compass bearing. However, hydroelectric development in the Highlands now has roads encroaching in areas of previous wilderness. However, the road was not going where I was headed, so it was soon back into the swamp and bog of Ascent. It's 2:32 p.m. and it's not been a very good day navigating today. First off, I overshot along that nice road by 1.7 kilometres before I realised I was going the wrong direction, so I had to backtrack to where I should have left that road and then cross the river and then a bit of swamp and then found a track and then followed that track for a little while. The track was more swampy than the ground around it at times, and then lost the track, and I think I'm about to rejoin the track, but to get this far I've had to cross probably nearly a kilometre of swamp. Very hard going, very saturated the ground. One stage went halfway up to my knees in the sphagnum moss. Not so far now to where I'm camping, maybe a couple of kilometres, so that's what I'm looking forward to, and get away from this swamp. I think I went wrong when I crossed the river draining that lock that's behind me. I never picked up the track on the other side and went ploughing straight into the swamp, whereas the course of the track did a slight change in direction to get to the higher ground. So I'm now on the higher ground and much better going, I think, now. Time is 4:46 and the Benmore Forest has come into view, and I think that's Loch Ailish in the distance. Not far now to the area where I'm camping, maybe 2 or 3 kilometres. Meters to go to the campsite. Not so deep, this one. Time is 17:20 and I'm comfortably inside the tent. I've been here 3/4 of an hour to an hour, I think. Don't dare open the fly screen to the vestibule because there's thousands of midges swirling around in the vestibule waiting to come in here. A lot were already inside the main tent and I've had to kill them. I found the most effective way was to use my damp cloth and wipe the surface of the inner tent. They're all hovering just on the